Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here and have the chance to discuss with you what is perhaps the most important change in humankind we see. This is digital transformation. And this is digital transformation, what it does with our society. And perhaps you can see something. These are the humans today all over the world. When I was born, internet was not existing. When I became a professor, web was not yet existing. These are very recent things, and in a one way we are thinking it's forever. We are using our smartphones and could not imagine a time without such things. On the other side, smartphone is 10 years old. So compared to other developments in society, a very, very short time. The digital transformation is not something happen in Silicon Valley. It's not something happen in Europe or in China. It has happened all over the world. Internet makes the world a connected village. And all states, all people, all regions have the same challenges to solve and have the same chances. So there is a new start point for developing our society and what's going on. Here's only one figure. It's a figure of the growth of the number of smart devices. And mathematically, every time such kind of development, such exponential development, is something which fundamentally changes an industry branch, a society, or whatever. Here, the Internet of Things, billions of smart devices. Not each human has one smartphone, many have several ones. But meanwhile, also machines and objects have processing units. This Internet of Things, IoT, Internet starts that we, with email, could send messages to each other, can come closer, can provide communication. Meanwhile, even objects, even machines, furniture, devices can interconnect by means of the Internet. And this is changing not only how we produce things, how we work, it's changing all part of life, our private life, it changes how we work. And this, of course, is a big challenge. And the question is how we matter this. There are huge potentials for developing societies in the political area, in the economical area, but also for the humans. What is behind the technique? I claim that it's the biggest change ever. Some people say, oh, it's a new steam machine. Internet is something like a new steam machine or something like automation or other things. No, Internet is a metaphor for this new digital world, which is completely different from our physical world we have learned to live in, we have developed. In our evolution, we adapted to gravity, to space, to time. But in the digital world, gravity does not play any role. Space does not play any role. Time does not play any role. So we are not used, have not learned how to use with this development. And the reason is all the physical objects which were in our world get a digital shell by means of a small processor. Beside of the physical way to interact with the objects, there is a new channel, the virtual, the digital channel for interaction. And the great changes come that this channel works completely different compared to our physical world. Digital interaction can be done in the speed of light. Digital communication can be done over large distances. I can do an action here over internet that let the machine start in China or in Germany to do something. And these are things we as humans are not used. We start to learn, and I claim we need several generations to learn how to deal with these new opportunities. Machines become speech-enabled. One can interact with machines. Not we as humans can interact with machines. Machines can interact with each other by means of this. Can interact in the logistic chain, can interact in the production cores and others. All these digital systems produce data. And this data tell a lot. Typically, we claim and speak of big data. Big data analytics is considered the biggest source for improving our health care systems, for improving our knowledge about medical things. Why a certain drug has some side effects. Why for 75% of people that have cancer, radiation is not helpful, only has terrible side effects. Today, nobody understands this, but by going deeper into human body, to the many data that in the medical therapy are produced, they can tell us a lot. And then, of course, security. This new world has physical impact on our life, on our systems, on our society. So we also are challenged to think about how to secure this virtual world. Looking to business, then we observe that digital diverse analog. Movies, film, Kodak, famous company, worldwide famous, within a very short time vanished. Vanished because digital images and digital platforms for exchanging images become much more efficient, much more important, much more used. If you look to hotels, the biggest hotel in the world, in this digital world, is RNBB, without owning one room in one hotel. A hotel without possessing hotels, rooms and buildings. Or if we look to taxi, you know, Uber also is not owning a taxi cab. Or in China, Didi. There are many things which are fundamentally changed by digitalization. Obviously, how we sell things, how we do shopping. There are companies, 15 years, they were not around. And they are important and play a role all over the world. By means of this digitalization, it becomes easy to produce very individualized products. Individualized products under the condition of mass production. I can immediately, in an automated chain to produce cars, I can very exact one car equipped with things a special customer likes to have, without changing the production line. Here, you know this with the shoes, that can be produced exactly like people like to have it. Machine learning. Machine learning is not so new, but applying this in a large extent in the production, in the services, changes a lot. So it provides, for example, the possibility to create machines that can talk with us like humans, so that it becomes difficult to distinguish, is this a machine, is this a chatbot, or is this a human? And of course, such chatbots can help to explain complex things, complex products, to explain like a car has to drive. There is a stream of autonomous driving, which becomes possible by artificial intelligence. Many people like to drive. So this is more or less a vision which shows what could be possible when we use and continue to develop the technological development. If we look what is the basic of this development, why machine learning becomes so successful, there are different reasons. One reason is the huge amount of data which are improved by digital systems. Before you send an email to someone, the systems, your system and this email system of the person you want to send an email, they have to exchange data to prepare that then your email is sent. This is only a simple example. So all this data provides a possibility to learn how things are working, how people are thinking, how people are behaving. So to give only one figure, more than 400 hours of video material is uploaded in YouTube within 1 minute. This huge amount of data gives the possibility that so-called neural networks of simple computing devices, tens thousands of computing devices, can start to learn. What's doing? Like children learn with our brain. The machine is showed images. For example, there is a cat, there is a dog, there is a house. A dog is going into the house. 1 million such images are shown to such a network. And then if the 1,000,001st image is shown without an explanation, machine is able, with high accuracy, to say what's happening on these images. So big data are an important driver for this success story in this machine learning. In-memory technology. Of course, we have a huge amount of data. Now we have to process this. With a typical computer, we can do this, and it costs weeks to find out, for example, the gene structure of a human. This in-memory technology, a new way of database, is able to analyze huge amount of data in real time, so that one immediately can see what's going on and can interact. A very important driver of this development is cloud computing. Cloud computing is bringing the computers out of our environment. Such things are enough to see, to say, I want to know this and this, I want to start that and that communication. But the computation, the data which are stored, all these apps, they are computed in very powerful computers in a cloud structure. So we can use the power of computing without having a computer close. And you know, in the first days of digitalization, you have the different diskettes and sticks and other storage media, and every time you need something new. With the cloud computing, you do not need new. So you can use the resources in the cloud. And of course, there are such changes, but these are done by profis. Let's have a short look to this, what makes the artificial intelligence in our time so valuable. This is deep learning. Deep learning is one special approach to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, is by statistics to adapt behavior to observing the statistical data and then adapt the machine to that behavior. Representing learning, this was the last 50 years of artificial intelligence research. One tries to formulate rules which lead us to certain decisions. So the idea was, collect all these rules, program it to the machine, and then the machine can do same conclusion like we. It showed it was not successful. But this deep learning with these networks which are learning, which not have a predefined algorithm. No, they get the data, they have a structure that can be adapted, that can learn something out of the data to find out how to decide what is the content or others. And exactly the same way is what's happened in our brain. There are different parts of the brain that do different things. Some are only to recognize, for example, noise and eyes. Others are putting this together to a face. So here, it's not so easy. For us as humans, we look and can immediately say, what's a beagle, what's a teddy, what's a cat dog, and what's a mistake. So the idea is also let machines learn this to do. And you see, it's difficult to formulate rules to make a decision and to see that this and this image is a dog, for example, here, and not a beagle. No, but learning, if you show millions of such images, this is able, that the machine adapts themselves to this kind of set. So here's an example how it works. On the right corner, upper corner, you see such a network. And with these small computing devices, every time scalar are changed. So the importance, the impact of one node to another is changed. And so try and try and try here these cars to let them go through a difficult street situation. And every time the convolution network is adapting. Thousands of parameters needs to refine with each try. And after a while, this machine is successful to find the way out. All types of curves have been learned. You see, it needs a new type of curve, machine needs to adapt. And with such networks have 10,000, 100,000 of computing devices, but these computing devices are not full computers, are simple making a linear combination. So, and then, after a while, the machine knows how to manage such a complicated track. Over the last years, we saw that this deep learning, machine learning, provides better results than humans. Here is the example of the image recognition. The accuracy by human is about 7%. So 93, 94% we can recognize and say Israel. Machine, meanwhile, have accuracy of 97%. Or another is speech recognition. The yellow curve shows that also in this area, machines are today better measured in accuracy than humans. Of course, it's not for all areas. These are areas where we have a lot of material that we can show to the machine for this learning thing. So here, for example, to show with this learning, this is an image style, Van Gogh, and there is a street image. And now let the machine learn the painting style of this famous painter. And in the outcome, you can get paintings. This is our main building in a style of Van Gogh. Because the machine exactly learns what is the specific of this. And if the machine has learned this, it becomes easy to apply this to any other things. What are the lessons learned and what are the next step? What we need is digital infrastructure. When societies are faced and are thinking how to manage the challenges of digital transformation, then they should provide powerful digital infrastructures. Broadband internet, wireless LAN in all places. Security needs to be done. Because this is a very big challenge if this new system, this interconnection of many things, can be disturbed by people from outside, by criminals, by spies, by other governments. Work will change. How we work. It's not clear whether these machines, there's more and more powerful machines, will take our work away. It's not clear. And nobody knows what is the development. You see there are different studies. One say, oh, it's more work needed. Others say, no, machines will do it all. What we think is the only way to tackle this is education, to prepare for these changes. So digital technologies should also be used for education, starting with the kids. And then, of course, in the universities, it's in future no more enough to go 5 years to a university and then to be prepared for a lifelong work career. No, knowledge is changing, knowledge is improving, so we need also in our professional work such change and possibility to learn. This is Hasso Plattner, founder of SAP. In Germany, he plays the role like Bill Gates. In the US, has a large foundation, and the foundation is financing our institute. And we do a lot of digital activities in society. So some people call HPI the Digital Lab Germany. So for example, in the moment, we develop a cloud infrastructure for schools. Perhaps this is not so tricky. The tricky part is to do this respecting the European data protection rule, which is a nightmare, because almost nothing is allowed. But perhaps we are able to do this. We have a platform with massive open online courses we provide. The platform was starting to work in 2012. edX was existing as an idea, but not as a system, so we designed the system by ourselves. And here is this new way, this MOOCs, this massive open online courses, where 10,000 people learn together. This is something was fundamentally changed, this e-learning activities. E-learning in the past, it makes no fun to sit alone in front of a computer and have to learn. Only autodidactic, gifted person are able to get something out of it. Learning is something social, and here with marrying such an online activity with social media, this provides something like a virtual social feeling for the learners. Design thinking. When we go in this new world, which is so rapidly changed by the digital transformation, we need to understand how we can create an idea, how we can change the mindset. So design thinking, there is a second Hasso Plattner Institute at the Stanford University, is exactly such a culture, such a way to equip people, our students, interesting people, tech peoples, also with this kind of looking to the world kind of mindset, which makes it possible to create innovation. And then, of course, we heard it in detail in the last talk, innovation and entrepreneurship, they are close together. In particular, digital innovation, digital technology provides the field for such innovation and entrepreneurship. And then we need to cooperate. All places in the world, all people are confronted with the same topic, are confronted with the same development, need to find a way how to deal with this new digital world. And so we need to cooperate inside the society, but we need also to cooperate between the different countries, the different continents. And your activity here is exactly one contribution to this kind of development. Thank you for your attention.
It's the most admirable country when it comes to making fancy cars, manufacturing, heavy industry, and here at the core of the transformation of adding this digital shell to all of this industries, products. So I'm adapting to life in Germany, and I start to see the precision of German engineering. It's obvious everywhere. And now we see this transformation being laid on top. And I'm very interested in your view on how would you see that. I had conversations with some really like people I admire, and I told me like they are in industry, in German industry, and they said we don't like digital, Digital doesn't create enough jobs. That's what they said. So I'm very interested in hearing your perspective on this as we move, because it actually, sophisticated industry might be disadvantaged when other countries progress digitally. So what's your view on this?
So perhaps you have heard the notion Industry 4.0. This is exactly the thinking and the idea and the strategy to combine the world of production with its digital possibilities and potentials. You are right. For many people, it's very different to say. You start with a digital thing, with an app or with something. Then typically, you try, it's not working. Then you say, oh, not working. And with the interaction of the user, this digital service, this digital product is developed. Imagine a car. You step in and try to go, would not work. You would be very angry. So many engineers in the beginning say, this digital, this is too errorous, this is not quality enough. But meanwhile, the people have very good understood that the precision is needed of the physical world, but it can be even improved and can be supported by the digital technologies. So for example, how the production goes on. This example that you can customize products. This is very difficult in a very efficient production line, because then all cars of a charge need to be the same. Now, with this interaction that the machine can interact with a store and with a color device and others, one can precisely say in such a chain, this car green and with this motor and this exactly for the customer who likes to have this very special equipment. So Industry 4.0 is a try to do this. There was in the talk before the question of the different countries which have their different strategies. So in Germany, the strategy with this digital transformation is particularly to look how we can make use of this digitalization in the production processes.
Great, thank you so much. I would like to ask, do we have any questions from the audience? Can we please pass the microphone to the gentleman? If you kindly can introduce yourself, please, and ask Professor Meinel.
Good morning. Thank you very much for very enlightening presentations, not only the last one, before that. This is Wardah Al-Hanai from Federal Authority for Nuclear Regulation in Abu Dhabi. My question is that we, until now, at least, we have been focusing on human-machine interaction. I'm really afraid that we are at the same time limiting or maybe diminishing the human interaction. And I give you an example. 10 years ago, it was very rare, or 20 years ago, very rare to hear about divorce in UAE. Today, the number of divorces are equivalent to 35 number of marriages. I don't mean the same marriages are getting the same divorces. The statistics is for different populations. I know that, but today 35% divorces compared to the number of marriages. That's horrifying, and they attribute this to the modernization and technological advancement.
Okay, thank you so much. And I think this is probably way of how, and I mentioned that briefly in the morning, and this is actually an extremely important question. You know, what if the important questions we need to ask? And I said, how would these technologies are transforming the ways our societies are organized? We're so used to the ways our society is organized, and now these disruptions come our way, and precisely, sir, what you mentioned, like divorce rates go up for whatever reasons, but there are changes happening. And it's interesting you asked Professor Meinel, because you're the director of the Design Thinking Research Program. And design thinking at the core of it is human centricity. And this actually, my understanding at least, that's a very naive understanding, is that it's actually putting a human face on technology and design. So where do you think this, from the design thinking work, how can we not negate or ensure that, it's very tricky to put in words actually, how can we ensure that these changes are favorable for society, like we minimize the negative consequences?
Perhaps I can start a little bit earlier, and exactly in your direction, report a discussion in Germany we have about digitalization in the school. So there is a discussion. Is it really helpful that the children learn this digital technology in the moment they are learning, writing, and discussing? Do they miss this traditional way to learn to write and to formulate complete sentence in the right way by using smartphones, writing SMS without correct grammar, without correct spelling? Is this helpful, and should we avoid to do this in the school? I think we have no chance, because the world is changing in the direction, and we have tried to do the best of this change. Also in the culture, in the behavior of the people, in the abilities, there are changes. Some things which were in the past very important, perhaps are no more so important in future. But this is a discussion when a society is changing. So we will have it and see this discussion in all places. Coming to this design thinking, this is really observation. In the digital world, often programs, products, services are designed by the programmer. And then humans look at it, customers want to use it, and it does not work. They have to do this, and this is not the usual way. Exactly, this is the mistake, because the people that want to program, they want to program it very fast and not discuss with the people what the people like. So with this design thinking, we try exactly to educate our students, which learn to program, which are technology students, that it is most important in the digital world to look to the user. User is customer, to the human that's using this. And not starting directly to program, but first to try to understand what is the real need. Why this does not work correctly. Sometimes people cannot explain why it's not working correctly. They say, it's not working correctly, but I want to improve, but I have no idea to do this. And exactly with the design thinking, there is a framework where together in the interaction with the user, one can find out how a solution could like that really use the people. So very much human-centric, and we believe particularly in digitalization. This should be the main aspects in the development.
The human face, actually, making technology more humane. Thank you very much, Professor. Appreciate sharing your wisdom with us. I will see you around.